All right, we're here. Form constant 4.
Hello.
Um, it's been a medium big week. It's been a normal sized week for me. How about you?
Um, Pretty normal size. Standard 7 days.
Classic, classic. I recently took up crocheting. I was I
Oh
was at
my
Michael's.
gosh.
I was at Michael's with my girlfriend, and we were throwing this yarn ball around, and then the label ripped off, and I was like, "Well, we can't just leave this here. I gotta buy it." And I bought it, and I made a helmet style hand crocheted hat, no tools, just my bare hands and some.
Bare hands in some yarn, is that what you said?
Yep.
Interesting. So you didn't need like the sticks. Is that
No,
was that
it's
not crochet?
I think there definitely are like crochet needles, but
Yeah.
it's like thick yarn. Like the diameter is probably 15 millimeters, something like that.
So you just don't need the needles.
Yeah, I can do it with my fingers. Needles probably would have
That's
helped,
cool.
but also I was walking around doing it, so it was it was nothing crazy.
Yeah, we'll post the pictures so people can see it. Is this going to be like a new hobby for you? Is this going to be a long-term gig?
Maybe I did get a new ball of yarn so I can make another hat to match mine for my beautiful girlfriend.
Wow, that is quite a gesture. I like that. It's
Yep.
very chivalrous and romantic.
Of course, of course.
What
That's
color? What colors are they?
mine is a brown and a tan and a gray, kind of like autumnal. And then
Uh-huh.
she chose this yarn that's like it's got some creams, it's got some browns and some greens. It's very natural. Some blues as well.
Sounds very nice.
Yeah.
And they sound like they'll go good together.
I do think they will. I do think so. So that's
You
pretty
guys will be like
exciting.
a full a full autumn landscape together.
Indeed. Indubitably. But yeah, what
For
about
the
you?
palette
What have you been
anyways.
up to this weekend or this week?
Oh man. Definitely working, but that's a not a good answer. I went to a ping pong bar yesterday. That was pretty cool.
That sounds like some Denver BS.
And I have plans to go again Sunday
Oh yeah? With a lucky lady, with a friend? What's with who?
with a friend.
Oh.
A couple friends, and I'm reaching out and trying to enlist more friends. So,
This
but right
sounds
now I've
big.
got 3 yeses.
Well, wowee.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Some guys I used to work with at a restaurant like last year, and they're cool guys. And then the one guy's wife, but
Oh,
they're really nice
boo.
and funny, and it'll be a good time.
And you're hoping this friendship will last the rest of your life?
I mean, yeah, why not? Sure, I'll say yes.
Or maybe a good few years.
Yeah.
So what is a ping pong bar? Just a bar where you can play ping pong, or is there anything else involved?
They have a bar, a full bar with cocktails and beer. They have a large space, with like maybe 5 or 6 ping pong tables, and they also serve food. They have, I think, some kind of like Asian cuisine there. So they have a restaurant area, and then they have the ping pong area, and then they have the bar area, and so you can get a table. You have to reserve a table, and you pay. You can get a table that's like a high top right next to a ping pong table, and you kind of like claim the ping pong table with the high top, and you just pay $15 an hour for the ping pong table,
Okay. And is it strictly
and you
ping pong,
can
or are you guys playing some frat games as well, or how's it going with that?
just ping pong.
Strictly ping pong. This is a very Denver idea. We went to that one bar that was it was that arcade, the retro arcade.
Yeah,
There's a retro
but
arcade
that's
in
like
Athens though, so
yeah, exactly. There's one in Woodstock that Peter goes to. It's like pretty much the same idea.
I mean arcades, yes, but then you
It's
then
an
you get down
arcade.
to a damn ping pong table. That seems
Yes, it's a more depth in the bar games. Ping pong is fun. It's just a game I really like, and I haven't played a lot in the past few years. So I keep saying like I want to find a ping pong bar, so I finally like found one, and
There you go.
now
You've
I'm
been
going.
been talking about a ping pong bar, and you got what you wished for.
Yeah, because billiards gets old. I
I
don't know.
I went to a pool table bar that also had duck pin bowling. Have you ever done
Now
that?
duck pin, is that the like small, like extra small pins
Yeah, it's
in
the
like
little
small
pins
ball?
on the rope and the yeah, it's like a shot put ball almost.
Yeah, I feel like I've done that, but only like maybe a couple times ever.
I love it. I love bowling. Bowling is kind of like a skill toy. It's I don't know.
Yeah,
It's fun to
bowling's
get
nice.
consistent. That's a fun sport that I like. I was
What's
killing
your high
everyone.
score?
Um,
What's your PR?
in duck pin or regular?
Both.
I think I think regular I got like 170 something, like nothing crazy.
That's
And
pretty good
then
though. That's definitely top tier for like amateurs.
okay, okay. I'll
Don't
take
you
it.
think?
I mean, yeah, I was proud of the score, but it's nothing like nothing to write home about, as they say.
Well, it's no 300, but
And then duck pin, the one time I went, I played two games. First round, I think I got 125 or something. And then the second round, I think it was like 150 or something around that range. And I felt pretty good about that one. I beat everyone I played with by more than 20 points. So
by a lot. Yeah,
I was satisfied with that.
very nice. Have you ever played ping pong? You have. I've played with you before.
Have we played ping pong?
Yeah, we played one time at Peter's old work.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I played a little bit of ping pong in my time.
Yeah, I feel like we all played really well. His boss especially was like probably a little bit better than all of us, but
That guy
we're all
was
pretty
fucking
good.
annoying.
Yeah, he was a little bit.
He was like he was foreign and he was all like, "Oh yes, I'm so good at the ping pong and I'm gonna make some biting remarks the whole time."
Yeah, I mean, he was like, I don't know, showing off because he's like the big boss. So he was also like, I don't know, making fun of Peter, and I don't know. It was like a power dynamic at play.
Yeah, truly there was. Well, what have you been thinking about?
Let's see. I don't know. I feel like we went super hard in the conspiracies last week. I feel like I was like, I need to step away for a minute, but
I have also been feeling that way about AI because the whole thing is um like these people in power want you to be up in arms about something and like these algorithms and the way people interact with the online space is through like outrage, like all writing everything that it does well is either something crazy hateful
true.
or crazy scary or something like that. And I feel like
Yeah, or it's
I got
sex,
a
or it's like porn.
yes, yeah, exactly. And I feel like I got a little fear mongered into just being full like holy shit, AI is gonna change everything and it's crazy scary shit. And it's like there are valid fears and valid concerns, but at the end of the day, like everything I'm consuming is kind of just outrage content to fuel the machine.
Yeah,
But I
that's
have a
true.
I mean, if you have any thoughts on it, go ahead.
No, please keep it up. Go.
I have I've been thinking a lot about consciousness and um like I was watching this video and this guy was talking about people who believe that the most basic elements that we have ever the most basic elements basically like electrons have some very low form of consciousness and somehow certain things uh like complex systems become more conscious like like humans and cats and all this kind of stuff like there's levels to consciousness and it arises from the most basic form of like particles and so something changes between arranging electrons to make or arranging atoms to make a table and arranging atoms to make a brain and a human being, and it's not like consciousness arises between those two things. It's more like consciousness gets more complex because we get to have senses and all that kind of thing. Do you have any thoughts on
Okay.
that?
That's interesting. I think that's like a common topic about because it's almost like the spark of like spark of divinity, like the spark of consciousness. People see it as like a special thing, and like that's the soul. And you have to like you can have a body, but if the soul's not there, then it's not necessarily like a human being. But what you're saying is that the soul isn't really part of it. It's more just like the evolution of the physical, like not vessel, but the physical like being and like the organism as it gets more complicated, consciousness grows with it, almost like an intrinsic um like connection to the physical object. Is that
Yes. I mean, I'm not. I don't think that it's intrinsic to like complexity, because I don't think. I think probably one atom is just as conscious as one atom in a table. It's just that all those atoms in the table have this very rudimentary form of experience,
yeah.
and I
Okay, yes.
so like something complex happens to us that makes us have these like souls and interests and whatnot. But I think like like the classic like hippie bullshit that we are all one and everything is love or whatever. I think that does make sense in that context, and I think having interests and beliefs and issues in your own life and personality traits, those all just come from like your flesh suit that kind of like shapes your reality.
Okay, so it's more of nurture rather than nature. So you don't think people are like born with a personality and like a like a very specific original sort of like identity, but it's shaped by their reality as they grow up.
Yeah, I
Are
definitely
you
think
like
that.
arguing against? Is this in a way like what do you think about how does soul tie into it? Do you think like soul is this like doesn't include soul in this?
I mean, I think soul, I think like all this is gonna get like dumb and philosophical because I've been listening to a lot of Alex O'Connor, I think is his name. Yeah, Alex
Not
O'Connor.
familiar, but
He's like a YouTube philosopher. He's British. He's a very handsome, chiseled British guy. He's got a way with
nice.
words. But like I think like the word soul does tangibly represent something, and I think the thing that it represents is our consciousness intertwined with our physical being, and like the connections that our brain makes and shapes and like it has to shape our reality. Like I like the color green because I like being outside, and it like natural selective kind of things, not actual true consciousness kind of things.
Okay, so what happens after you die? That begs the question. I mean, this is like the classic debate. Is there a soul? Is there life after death? Does your soul move on to some place that's
I
like
don't think
either
it moves
paradise
on. I
or
think so. I think we're it's impossible to describe what would happen because we live in this three-dimensional reality that has laws and rules and things that we have to follow. And I think you know when you die, there's probably some kind of oneness that you feel, and there's this greater like reality. There's this step back that you can take. I don't think I'm gonna die and be like, yes, I like wearing cut Dickies pants and doing skateboard tricks and playing Tetris. But I do think there will be some there will be some sort of experience for me. Like people talk about like sinking into the earth or becoming a tree or whatever when they're doing psychedelics, like that kind of thing where you like maybe like become one with everything. And then it's
yeah.
like so basically if every atom has some form of experience, there is some greater feeling that would come from being every atom. And I would say that is probably what I think God would be.
Yeah,
And
totally.
that's probably what, that's like why I'd say we are all God, all that kind of thing.
Yes. So I like actually agree with a lot of that, like as far as like the way I actually do see things. But I do think the soul plays some kind of a part. But I think it's like like I think like your soul in a human body, and when it leaves the human body, I think you're right to say like your style and clothing and like the things that you're into, like those are all like very human things that are like a part of this life, and so they're like very specific to this experience. But I think we like take like they say like you take like lessons, like really more general lessons that honestly like have to do with like connecting with other people and like emotional things and like love and how did did you betray someone, like do you have things that you kind of fucked up and it's like a weird like glitch in your energy system, or did you like harmonize things and heal things in your life? It seems like those are like the bigger like broader lessons that are could potentially you could even argue is like deeper than a human experience but like also fits into the human experience. So like if you think about being a collection of atoms, whatever it might be, and then experiencing your life as a table or as a person, but then when your life is over, you sort of dissolve into like all atoms, quote unquote, like God essentially, and like
Right.
that becoming, yeah, when like that the phase of like becoming everything.
I think, yeah, I
And
think you also do probably have to reach some kind of understanding in life for that to happen. Like maybe you die and you can't disperse your energy as much, and maybe you're reborn as something like maybe like Buddhist ideals of enlightenment could play into this.
yeah, totally. I mean, like that's reincarnation. That's what the idea of reincarnation is. Like you come back basically to learn your lessons. And it's also like what he says about the opposite of entropy. You're coming back so that you can lessen your amount of entropy and therefore get closer to God's source, which is like all atoms together. And it's so you're like trying to like, I guess like kind of like purify your consciousness in a way that is just less entropic and less chaotic.
I think that the whole entropy thing is kind of a trend towards oneness, though, because like
Yeah.
if we experience the heat death of the universe, like everything will be spread out evenly, like that kind of, like maybe that, like there is a
Yes.
tangible end to our universe. So I think there's probably steps in which our individual consciousnesses and experiences can pass on, but then there's also just like the physical ending and passing on, and you kind of, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know what you mean by because it's like, well, it's like that they're both kind of the same thing in a way. They're just like different ends of the spectrum. Because if you think about like glass, like a glass sphere, like a perfectly crystal like glass sphere, and then you think of it like in a different evolution, like then you can think of it as like all sand, like it's all whatever, broken up into like sand. You know how glass is sand or whatever.
Yeah, if you ground
And
it
so
up,
like
it's like a big cycle.
yeah, but then so it's like entropy. So there's more chaos when you just have like a pile of sand, and when you have like a perfect like crystal glass ball, there's like almost no entropy and everything is like working together and it has like this beautiful like shape and presence, but yet they're like the same thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's almost like no judgment. It's like it's all kind of the same, but there's one that's kind of feels better. I mean, you can kind of like play around in sand, but like I feel like I'd rather be a crystal ball in that situation just because it's like feels more powerful.
yeah. I guess that makes sense. Um, I was listening to Michael Stevens of Vsauce, and he was talking about how you can see in the Bible having people start like there's a rising culture in perception, even in the Bible and in like the Odyssey or whatever, and the Iliad. Like there's like rising perceptions, like the there's like ideas of oneness, and then there's ideas of like where did God go? Like what are we left to do? That kind of thing. And then with like the Greek stuff, they're like they went from being like, you know, the spirit of Athena took over me and led me to do this thing and this thing, and then later um they're like, they're just like they talk like how we do now, where it's like I did this thing, I chose to do this thing, and it's like
Yeah.
the idea that like our culture and our perception shape our reality, like in the way that like if you had a child and you never used the word I, and you said like we, or like this energy is causing this to happen or whatever else, like you could shape that person's that baby's reality into something completely different. But I mean they wouldn't like function within our society, but like
Yeah.
like I feel like our perception of like individuation is kind of a means to an end for like politics and the economy more than enlightenment or like the
Yeah.
collective conscious understanding.
Yeah, totally. I mean that's that's like okay, so like for example, psychedelic drugs, it's like these are illegal a lot of times, not because they're dangerous necessarily like in an unhealthy way. I mean, they definitely can be and they have risk, but a lot of it is like they make people like less productive and less interested in cultural norms and like less interested in generating more for the economy. And so like those are some of the big motivators why it was illegal, I think.
And more
And it's
questioning of the government and current
yeah,
systems.
right. There's like it makes you like question society, and I think that's why they make the law. So if you take that as an example of like everything, you think of like TV programming and the way that we advertise, like our whole culture is centered around keeping us like as consumers because that's what like most people have like a vested interest in us staying as, and like going in the woods and creating your own community and you live off the earth and you pray to whoever, and I don't know, like having like a more like um I don't know, elemental life closer to the earth is just not
Transcendental
profitable.
life. That's like
Yeah,
the idea of transcendentalism. That's
but that
go ahead.
but that is like I think less entropic life. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
the
no,
life that
you're
like
right.
Native Americans had and stuff. Yeah, but and
And
so
then and
it's
yeah, and Western
not
culture
good.
teaches you that, African people and Native American people were just uncivilized. They didn't realize the means and the power of industrializing, but it's like they were probably living better than people were today in terms of like
Quality of
connection
life
and
and
and and
health.
fulfillment. I don't know about health. I think like there definitely are tangible benefits to our capitalist structure and our wide scale productivity and economy, but I don't know, they also have led us to like live in buildings in cities, and you don't even see birds anymore and shit like that. So it's like, you know is it so horrible to be a squirrel and be looking for food and watching out for prey? I don't think so.
No, in fact, I think that's like closer to a life that is like more natural and like I think would be more fulfilling is if we didn't like the fact that we like have to work so hard and to like make a living and it just like eats up all of our time and it consumes our whole life essentially, I think is um like kind of a missed opportunity for having like I don't know, just a better experience, just a better life. um
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
I
know,
agree
I think
with
it's
you.
complicated, but I think like that's like pinnacle of human of like a living a good life is like sort of like a Native American style life of like at least a peaceful community, not like a really violent, because there's a lot of violent Native Americans, but like the idea of just like living off the land and like having deep roots in your community and like living in a small village, and I feel like that's probably like the best case scenario for human life. I think like all of these bells and whistles that we have and the technology and the internet, I think it's like I mean you could argue it might be even be like a net negative, but I think it's like like I don't think it's worth it, you know? Like I think like that's all just fluff, and we're really just supposed to be like sitting by the fire, telling stories, making music, hunting for food, like loving each other, like that. Like that's like the best parts of human experience.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, because like the thing about being human as opposed to an animal, what Michael Stevens would argue is that we have the ability to create meaning and create art and think, and think about, do math. Like math is this completely abstract concept that describes our universe, and we're capable of doing it and creating it and like solving problems in that way. But you can do that and create meaning and create art while just being like not in this like post-industrial capitalist society. You can
Yes.
hunt and fish and garden all the same.
Yes. I totally agree. I think it's just like getting away from us, and I do think it's corruption, and that's why it kind of always goes back to conspiracy for me, is because there's
I mean,
people that
yeah,
are like.
power corrupts for sure.
And so what I would like to see the world, like if I were to imagine a perfect world, it wouldn't be like zero technology. We could have all the technology that we have now and like even like build off of it, but we would just like have a more centered like morality to where people just, I don't know, there would be like more abundance for all, because I don't know, it's just like a change in a mindset, that people like just wouldn't feel the need to be as greedy, and we could just kind of like work as a team and like get our needs met and make sure everyone has like the health care they need and like the mental health care they need, and everyone just has like access to healthy lifestyle things, whatever that means.
Hmm.
Like RFK's plan to send homeless people to like rehabilitation centers. Did we talk about that?
No.
I feel like we might have a while back, but um like if you're like a drug addict, you're struggling, or you just like went bankrupt, or like just something goes wrong in your life, you could go to these like free places and just live there as long as you needed, and you would have like like chores to do, but it'd also be like an enriching environment where you could learn different things, like learn life skills. You'd be like networking with the community, you'd have like support if you're having like mental health issues, and you would also be like, part of your chores would be like productive things in society. So it's almost like it's not prison necessarily, but it's just like you can choose to go there and just kind of like reset. Um,
Yeah, I
and
mean, even the concept of prison isn't that bad. I was watching Atlanta. Have you ever watched that show?
yeah, it's good.
He In season 3, Alfred is like in prison, or he's in jail in Amsterdam or Switzerland or somewhere, and like the whole joke is like how much he's enjoying it, and he's like talking to the guards, and the guards like, do you want me to turn off the light for you, and like shit like that. Like there are tangibly good things that could be done. Just like I feel like especially the US is like not on it. Doesn't care.
Yeah, it's all greed, because there's like lobbyists that will push for these industries because they make a lot of money off of it, and the incentives are just all about um, gaining money and power. I guess like having a monopoly over the system. But there's like judges who are on the boards of prisons, and so they get more money when there's more prisoners, and so they will just like send people to jail more often than not, like like they'll just be weighted in that, well, I guess you could do community service, but no, we're going to put you in jail for at least a year, because they get a financial benefit out of it.
Yeah.
And the
Prisons
same
for
story happens
profit.
across like all industries. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. It's I don't know how, like, I feel like my actual takes on any political issue are never going to happen. And I don't know what to do about that.
I mean, yeah, it makes you feel a little hopeless, but I think we're in a time where like corruption is really coming out, like the whole Epstein stuff. It's just like all like in our face right now, and I think we're in a place where we're all trying to just figure what the hell's going on. But I think there's just so much information dropping, like every month, every week, every like day. There's something some new headline about just some crazy shit that's super corrupt, and it's like very appalling. So I think we're in a time where we could actually, you know, change things. Hopefully, I think it's if we're like waking up to the fact, then we can actually like elect people who prove to us that they have like an interest in like making things better and not just like lining their pocketbook. Like I think we're all like very aware of that more than ever. And there's people that are like running on those topics of like, I don't need this. I'm doing this to like serve the public. I'm not doing this to make money. Like I'm a successful lawyer, whoever they are, they don't need to do that job. So I think
Yeah.
like people will like actually vote for those types of candidates. That's my hope. So I think like little by little, if we keep getting better people in there because we know what to look for, I think it could get better.
Yeah. I think that's all good and hopeful. Should we end this one and do the next one?
Sure.
All right. Thanks for listening to episode 4.
Whoop, whoop.
Bye bye.